Welcome to the Fine Print, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Caleb Teskey, coming at you with a rare Friday interview today. It is Friday, right? Yeah, it is. Cool. We got another great artist spotlight for you here this evening. And of course, before we get into that, I want to do the usuals and thank my previous guest, Steve Halton. If you guys didn't check out that interview, Steve's a hemp grower over in New York and Real Life Botanicals. Great talk with Steve and all the other folks I've had on from New York this month. Paula Collins, Joseph Calderon. Also had a great artist spotlight with my man Box Guts, who did this beautiful mural. I really like Box, man. He seems like my kind of dude. Check out his music, Box Cuts on Bandcamp, or Box Guts, sorry. Nancy's own Nancy Wallace down in Oklahoma, another herb grower there, breeding some phenomenal looking herbs. Another artist spotlight with my man Robscure. We're gonna maybe probably talk about him for a second at least tonight. Charles McGowan, Sambo Creek Filtration, Joseph Calderon, Grateful Valley Farm, Chris Ferrone, Talking Joints Memo, just a fucking laundry list of great guests this month. And just a couple things I got coming up too on Sunday. I've got Dr. Carl Craig, and we're going to be doing some more cannabis science. We're going to nerd out a little bit. Tuesday the 30th, I got Brad Racino, one of my favorite journalists in the country, coming back from New York Cannabis Insider. That's going to be a great show. And then February 1st, I got Keith Stroop, who is the founder of Normal. I think that's going to be another great interview. And then February 4th, my friend Gina Tron is coming on, and I'll tease you a little more information on that later, but I'm super excited to have Gina back on. And if you haven't seen what she's been up to, Google her fucking name. I just love Gina. She was on our old podcast a couple times, and I just love chatting with her. And so, yeah. So my guest night, like I said, we got another artist spotlight. Just been dropping some new projects. And without wasting any more time, we'll just fucking wham, bam. It's Nahte Renmus in the house. Thank you for joining me tonight, man.
Of course, man.
What's Word up. Before we do anything serious, would you give us a 5-minute life story?
Oh, fuck. All right. 5 minutes? Damn. All right. I'm 28 years old. I'm going to sum this up in 5 minutes. All right. I grew up in Newport, New Hampshire to start with, and then moved to Claremont, New Hampshire, which is 10 minutes away. Not that big a deal. Both small towns. I started freestyle rapping when I was like 12, 13. Yada yada, keep doing that for years, like high school shit. Like everyone would be like, oh, like fucking freestyle. And I'm like, all right, give me a beatbox. So that was a thing. And just did that for years. And then I was like, damn, I really like rapping and I'm getting kind of nice with this. So years later, I've always skateboarded. I've always loved hip hop. I've always loved music in general. Grew up off rock and roll, you know what I mean? My dad was playing like Black Sabbath, Puddle of Mud, fucking random groups, whatever. And so I meet Jarv. We met at a skate park. We're actually at a skate competition and next to each other on a ramp. And we were like, yo, I wish they were playing like Wu-Tang or whatever, you know what I mean? And so then we got into conversation from there, like later in the day. And we were like, yeah, let's exchange information, hang out. So if you look on YouTube, you can actually find, I think the video is called Clamtown Goodies. That was our first time ever hanging out. And then from there, uh, basically they took me into, he's from Vermont, Windsor, Vermont, which is like 20 minutes away from where I grew up. And so he was like, yo, we just started a little group called Maiden Voyage. You should be in it. And I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. So I got a little better with my writing because I hadn't written much prior to that point. And yeah, we did our little Maiden Voyage thing. Big Burns, Mr. Burns from Linguistic Civilians caught us at a show at one point. And there it is. Yeah, exactly, that one. I'm looking young as hell. I'm wearing kind of white pants, not quite white pants, black shoes and red shirt. Terrible outfit, but anyway, yeah. Uh, yeah, and from then on, we did mad shows, whatever, and built up to be this thing. And then as things go, you get a little older, you got a lot more things going on, tougher to get together as a group. We were four, went to three people, and then now we're kind of two, but also kind of one and one next to each other because we live in Brooklyn now for almost 3 years. And the Maiden Voyage thing is not dead and gone, but it's like on a hold at the very least. So yeah, I've been producing since I was like 20. I've been rapping for a long time. I'm 28 now again, and like yeah, I've been rapping for like 15 years, man. I don't know, a lot changes, but happy to be here. Jarv's my roommate. I can hear him peeing in the other room right now.
Is
Uh,
he over there peeing?
yeah, he's somewhere peeing. I don't know. He just got home like as we were loading up this shit.
Hold
He
on.
can do-
I'm gonna put you in the big box here.
yeah, put me in the big box, man.
Hold
Fuck,
up.
put me in whatever box you need. I'll go in a big box. I'll
You
go
seem
in.
like a big box kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm a big box guy, but I'm not box guts, but I'm a big box guy. That mural you shown looked sick. I didn't know he did all that, but
Yeah, that's it. Hey, one more shameless slap for box. Yeah,
yeah,
that's super
that looks
dope, yo, man.
sick, man. That looks dope. I didn't know he did all that. I just met him on a run. I was back up in Burlington, Vermont for Burlington Rap Night, like mid-December, and I met him because he was there as well with Mapstar. Shout out Mapstar.
Mav, who's there every night, just
Yeah, exactly.
staring at
Yeah,
you.
yo, he nailed it. Yeah, no, I fucking love Map, dude.
He's my favorite goon I've ever met. That motherfucker. Hell
He's a madman. He's great.
yeah.
Love
Fuck yeah. Cool. So what I'd like to do is just well, first let me ask you, because I'd like to ask all the artists, and I think this is like a corny fucking question, but like what was the first hip hop that really got you, hooked on that shit? Because I know for me it was like
man.
a kid left a 36 Chambers CD in my Discman, and I was like, oh fuck, like that's what we're doing now. So I'd be curious to hear about your influences as well.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I wish mine was 36 chambers. I don't have bad ones at all, but I'm just saying, like, that's a great era. How old are you? You're
39.
39. All right, I'm 28. Not terribly different worlds, but like a lot happened in those 11 years that are like, yeah, shit is different. I was born in 1995, so it's like I came up in a world of like, yeah, I was, you know, 0 years old where some of the best hip hop ever came out. So it took me a long time to get to that, you know what I mean? But I would say like I mentioned my dad like listening to mad rock and roll, we'd listen to the fucking radio, you know what I mean? And like the few things that came across in the radio to me were like the Gorillas featuring Del the Funky Homo Sapien. That
Right.
track would always come up and I'd be like, damn, like what the fuck is that? Like someone's doing something special because all I've ever heard was Alice in Chains, you know what I mean? And
Respect also. Yeah.
no, I mean no bad bad blood on Alice in Chains at all. Just like
Mhm.
that hit me in a certain way where I was like, all right. And then I guess equally like any kid my age, older or younger by like 10 years, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, man. I grew up loving skateboarding. I started skating when I was like 9. That soundtrack on all of those games introduced me to the best hip hop ever. Like, shout out Tony Hawk or whoever was on the music side of things in that shit because wow, they really killed it.
People have made fun of me for that too, but I played all of those fucking games, man. I used to jam on that shit
Dude,
on the original PlayStation, and the soundtrack was always fantastic. I was like,
yeah,
"This is great." I would play the level again just so I could hear the song. Like, all right,
yeah.
cool. Like,
I got like Jurassic 5, Public Enemy, one of my favorites like Aesop Rock, Tribe Called Quest, Most Def, like you name it, they had it. Like they
Tribe Called Quest, that's where I first heard them, and that I was like, "What the fuck is this right here? I need
yeah,
more of that in my life."
yeah, exactly. No, they're fucking amazing.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
yeah, that was, like, my introduction to hip hop, I think, both those things, just being, like, radio music that was more hip hop-esque back in the day, and then, like,
mhm.
little Tony Hawk Pro Skater shit, and, just random run-ins too. You have the older friend who shows you Trick Daddy, and you're like, "Oh, shit. Trick Daddy's crazy. I'm not crazy about him, but that's cool. I like that," you know? So, yeah.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, so let me ask you a little bit because when we met, right, it was like, I don't know, I feel like the first time we met was at that Onion River campground show,
Mm,
where that drunken redneck was trying to start fights with people. Um, but back that was the Maiden Voyage stuff, which you touched on a little. Well, I'd
yeah.
like to just get your thoughts because I've met Teece, I've met Jarv, and it seems like you guys, it seems like along with having just a really killer chemistry among the three of you, like you can
Yeah.
tell you guys are tight. But it seems like you've all developed your own like distinct styles here that maybe spawned out of that project.
Oh, no, definitely, man. I mean, we're all kinda as friends go, like, you show each other music, you're all into a certain amount of music, and then, like, years go on and you're like, "Oh, I really mess with this." And they're like, "Yeah, that's dope, but, like, check this out." And that's kinda how that goes, man. Even if you're in a rap group together, like, it's bound to happen, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like one of the one of the big groups we were all on back in the day was like Atmosphere. And like even to this day, you ask Jarv, you're like, what do you think about Atmosphere? He'll be like, I fucking absolutely 100% love Atmosphere. I love Slug. Some of Ant's beats are incredible, but they fall off at a certain time and they hit back, They're still doing their thing fully, don't get me wrong, but like it's that's a great example of like how things change over time,
Hmm.
even person to person or artist to artist. It's like, so
Hmm. Well,
I got more into like MF Doom and Aesop Rock than those two were.
well, and in general, sorry to cut you off, but I want to slide in a point here. And in general, the whole trajectory of hip hop, like it seemed
Yeah,
at the beginning it was more like based on like funky, disco-y, boom bappy type shit. And now we've seen this sort of transition over to a lot of just trap kind of beats and stuff like that, which seems to be, that's not really my lane there, but that
yeah,
seems to be what's if you listen to the radio now, which I don't fucking do, or if you go to a club, it seems like there's a lot of that out there and less of the boom bap stuff. And maybe that's me being old and like stuck in my ways, but that's the shit I like, the shit that makes you bang your fucking head off the wall.
yeah, yeah. I don't think that's you being old. I just think that's the way things go. You know what I mean? Like, I feel the same way about like I'm I'm a young man still. I like to believe and like I talk to like a 22-year-old kid, if they're not doing music, they probably don't know about the things I grew up off that like made hip hop what it was today. Or not what it was today, but like what it is in the sense of hip hop. And like we're totally on different sectors in that, like entirely. So
Hmm.
it's
And
interesting.
that's why I fuck with your crew because you guys still got that style that reminds me of the good old days, you know.
Yeah, I shit appreciate that 100%. We always
Right.
have.
And you're working with who's making your beats, man? You said you're producing? Are you making a lot of the beats? I noticed when I went through
Yeah,
your Bandcamp page, and hang on, let me do a just a little shameless slap here for your Bandcamp page, if you don't mind.
no, of course.
I don't have a Jamie like Joe Rogan, but I do have screen shares. Um,
Nice.
Nahte Renmus.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
Got a number of projects up here. I see Teeth right there.
I
Boom.
will say you can see my whole shit is like based off the artwork of the new album, but the new album is not on Bandcamp because again, as things change, you want people to stream your stuff. So I didn't want to just immediately throw my stuff on Bandcamp. Bandcamp's not as big as it was in terms of like streaming, but you know, it-
Oh, before
soon,
we dig, oh,
soon here I'll put my new album on Bandcamp so you can listen.
and before we dig right into that, I just wanted to do a shameless slap. I did want to ask you about, and we talked about this on the phone. I like to ask a lot of people about this. Like, do you remember your first show?
Yeah, man, it was rough. It was a Maiden Voyage show. Me, TeeceLuvv, Jarv, and our homie who we called Futawn, who is Shawn McNew. That's his real name. So we were a four-piece at the time. We had never done a show. We had built up some tracks, and we were like, "Oh shit, we're kind of doing our thing." And like, we weren't really posting anything at the time. I don't even believe like we had a SoundCloud really rocking more than with a couple songs, if that. And so somebody recruited us to be on. It was a high school dance, dude. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was in Hanover, New Hampshire. I might be wrong, but either way, an equivalent town to that. And we were like, yeah, sure, we'll come rock a high school dance. Most of us were still in high school at that point. If not, we're like graduating that year. Because TC and Jarv are 2 years older than me. I believe Sean might have been as well. So I'm 28, Jarv's 30, Tease is like 29 going on 30. Anyway, uh we show up to this thing and we're like, man, this is definitely gonna be weird. And we had like practiced in Nate's basement, like literally in front of stuffed animals, I remember. Just being like, all right, we gotta get ready to like face a crowd. Like we've never really done that. Like we all freestyled for years and years and years and years. You know what I mean? But like we think this is gonna be like such a sick thing, and then all of a sudden we get there and we're like, oh no, this isn't put together at all. Like many shows I've done for the past fucking decade. And then it's just like, oh shit. We're literally about to rap to kids our age who aren't even listening to the same shit we listen to. And like, so they formed a circle around us instead of having us like in a gymnasium. We're in the middle of a circle, like it's a fucking fight. You know what I mean? And so yeah, case in point, it didn't go that well. Like we did like 3, 4 songs, and they were just like everyone was kind of like, I, w- I want Soldier Boy to play or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like understandable, but also we didn't know it was coming at the time, so we were hurt by that, dude. That sucked. But yeah,
Wow, a high school dance. That
yeah,
was the first show.
yeah. Technically, if we're talking all technicalities, yeah, that was real. So
When did start really? When did stuff really start clicking for you guys? Because by the time I had seen you at Onion River, there, I thought you guys were putting on killer shows. And I came to see you guys in Nth Power, and I had a great time there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so I guess basically it went. We did that, and then we were like, oh, we gotta one tighten up and two recognize like what is an acceptable thing to do. A high school dance when you're still kind of high school age is either the thing to do or not at all the thing to do. Like so we're like, all right, let's step it up a little bit, figure our shit out, get some more tracks down. Let's just keep building and building and also just like keeping it authentic and being friends and not trying to think about it in any certain particular business model. So we are like, we have tracks that we think are fucking sick. You know what I mean? And we eventually got booked onto this thing called Fest for West in Heartland, Vermont.
Huh,
And it's a woodsy area.
huh.
And it was like kind of a benefit show for the family's son who had passed away. He was like a football star.
I got a homie down in Heartland, right there from Edwards. Hey, Keith. Yeah, word up to Keith. Yeah.
Heartland's a great place, man. There's a lot of great people there. You know what I mean? And so they were thrown on this thing called Fest for West. It was like I think the second or third year they had done it, and then we played it. I believe this is how it goes. I might be mistaken, but I believe through that linguistic civilians, who was Mr. Burns, LC, Philly, and our homie Walshy Steez.
Brian Walsh, yeah.
Great four-piece group. They did a lot of shit through Vermont, and they were basically like, "Yo, you guys were fucking dope. Like, what the hell? Young kids doing shit that we're trying to do. Also a four-piece at the time. You know what I mean? Four-piece meets four-piece, but like within 10 years of each other, they were. If I remember correctly, as Will Ferrell says it in the bloopers of Eastbound and Down, correctly, instead of correctly. They basically just like started booking us shows from there. And they were like, "Yo, you guys are dope. We love you." And for that, I love them so much because
Burns is a great guy, I think, in my opinion, and he's been on the show. And
yeah,
I've also met Brian and the other guys, and they've always been super cool. And
mhm,
Burns is just killing it. Burns is doing all these shows. Like I just saw him with Jizza in
yeah,
Stowe a couple weeks ago, and then he did the show with the Far Side. Whenever there's a big hip hop show, they call Burns, and that's I
yeah,
think that speaks to
exactly.
his level of professionalism.
No, exactly.
Mm.
Also, I realize I'm looking to the right a lot, but that's because you're on the right side of my screen and I've never
Yeah.
used. Can I pop you up somehow?
What's up? You want me to come back here? I could. I don't
Wait,
know how to. I don't know how to change your view.
oh, damn. All right, I kind of figured it out. I made you bigger
I
anyway.
could change my views. I could do this. I could put us in the big frame.
No, you good, bro. I like that. I like that. No,
I'd like to go back here. I like to stay
you're right,
small
dude.
and focus on the guests.
Oh,
But
that's fine.
I would like to just ask because I see Jarv is killing it, right? He's doing shows all over the fucking country and I thought that RA the Rugged Man stuff was super cool when he.
Yeah,
I feel like that really set him up big for
100%.
success, and I love to see him just killing it over with who's the other guy, Dylan. I really like him, the Lobster Man.
Lobster bro. Dylan Marr. Literally, I forget how they met or how that worked out, but because Jarv was already doing his thing by that point. And so I've met a lot of people through Jarv, and I sometimes forget how I even met them because I'm like, how did we do a show with them? And it's probably just because Jarv is fucking popping off and doing his thing. So, but Lobby Doms, Dylan Marr, the absolute man. I mean, shit. Let me pop this up.
I
Here.
was gonna say, tell me you got a lobster suit down on the floor or something.
No, dog, I wish I had a lobster suit on the floor. I would never steal his fucking shit. Yo, you know it's real. You know it's real.
Yeah.
Yo, I got the vinyl, dog. Are you kidding me? Look at this shit.
Word up.
Perfect. It's fire. He wasn't fucking around. The shit is red, dude. Kidding me?
Wow.
Ah,
This wasn't even in my notes. I just made a good call right there. Wham.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
No, I'm right next to my little vinyl collection.
Yeah, and that's dope to see. And also Teece, I watched Teece. He did a show with Fatty B here in Vermont at
Yeah,
a movie theater in Essex, and it was great to see him there. I always love watching him perform. He's got such a he's he's a goofy motherfucker. I love his style. He's so loose. And
that's
like
the thing.
I remember at one point he went to take a sip of his drink and he picked it up and then just put it down without taking a sip. And he was like, "Oh shit, I forgot to take a sip."
Yeah, you probably picked it up out of like slight nerve. Like this is, I'm not talking bad on him at all. I'm just saying performing. Like he probably went to be like, oh shit, my mouth is a little dry. I need to pick this up. And then halfway through was like, oh, I need to do this. And then was like, oh, in order to do that, I'm gonna set my drink down. And then was like, fuck, I just incompleted a task. Like that's so easy to do while
No,
you're on.
but then he rolled with it. He played off his own little fuck up there, and I like that as someone who's done stand up comedy. I was like, look at
Yeah,
him riffing right now. Yeah,
props to that because that's the best thing you can ever do when you're performing in any facet of anything. It's just like making yourself uh humanizable. That's not a word. I just made it up. But everyone can understand what the fuck that means. You know what I mean?
Mm. And
There's definitely a better
I
word for
love
that.
I love watching him perform, man. He always just seems like he's having a good time. He's like in a good mood. He's funny. He's
Yeah,
loose, and he does like silly dances and shit. I love, and he sings. Sometimes he sings a little bit too, and I love that about him.
it's true.
Mhm.
He's a beast, man. I love TeeceLuvv.
Yeah, you gotta love him. His name is TeeceLuvv. You
Yes, you don't love TeeceLuvv. If you're hating on TeeceLuvv, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? Something wrong with you.
hates his middle name.
No, I hate on TeeceLuvv only because he didn't move down to Brooklyn with us from Vermont. That's the only reason I'll ever hate on TeeceLuvv.
You hear that, Tease? And you're coming on next, Tease. I'm gonna handle you next. Would you tell us about your other roommate, please? I believe he also just appeared on the show recently.
Robscure, the absolute homie. So I've known him for like probably almost 10 years.
No shit.
About not not extremely well at first, but now we know each other pretty well because we fucking lived together since last May. It now being January 2024. He moved in like May 2023. So we had a homie, Angus Davis, who has credits on my new album Funk 95. He's the man as well. We
Is he
used
the
to
bass player?
him. Yep, great
Angus
bass player.
Angus Dangus or whatever the fuck you said?
Angus, yeah, he's a real fucking slapper, man. True slapper. But so we did shows with him for a long time. He moved down here with us, kind of instead of TeeceLuvv. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, Teece, but I love you, Teece. But we were at a party at Nate's house one night, and I was like, all right, we, as in me and Nate, are moving to Brooklyn or New York in general or New Jersey, one of the three. Or a combination. Fuck it. Let's live in many places. Let's just go down there. And so it was tough to figure out. But then we were at a party one night at Nate's house, and I was just like, Angus, move in with us. And he was like, okay, when? And it happened. We made it happen so quick. We couldn't even really double think it. Like it just happened. Found a place. Anyway, we lived together for 2 years. Had such a great time. And then he was like, all right, he met a lot of musicians in his time. You know, he's not a rapper. He lived with two rappers for a minute. So he was like, I'm ready to like move out and hang with some of my more musician friends. And we're like, all right, fair. So we hit up Robscure, who had just moved to Crown Heights probably a year prior, I believe. He could tell you more about the actual timing of it, but I think it was about a year.
So
And I had met up with Rob a few times and hung out with him. So I was like, this is sick hanging out with you here. Even though we don't know each other extremely well, we've known each other for a long time. You know what I mean? One of those situations. He actually opened up for Maiden Voyage on one of his first show ever at
oh,
what was Sweet Melissa's in Montpelier, Vermont, where
oh,
he grew up.
I've done a couple of comedy shows there. Yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
And now it's Ben Nail Bistro.
Yeah, word up. All right.
So he's lived with us for a minute. I fucking love the guy. Such a great dude. Just put out a project, Water. If you didn't see the last episode where he was probably promoting that, Water, baby. It's a great fucking project.
Slap on the album cover there. Yeah.
Two dope features. CJ Fly, Soul Child. He's got dope videos, dope raps. He produced some of it. Anyways, he's the man.
Hmm.
Love him.
It sounds like you guys just have a lot of talent in your circle, and I fucking love to see that, man. Hell yeah. Let's go. I got some other people I want to ask you about, and I'm going to do another shameless slap for your album cover. It's Nahte, Renmus
All right,
joining me tonight.
that's right.
Uh, the next person I'd like to ask you about is Wombaticus Rex.
Yes. The man, the myth, the legend. Nah, for real though. I mean, it's funny because honestly, I do not know Justin Bolin that well, but did I know Wombaticus Rex through the internet? Yes. I saw multiples of his videos, his tracks, and was like, "Fuck, so sick." I'm like, "You're telling me this dude was rocking this area so many years ago, and like, one, where is he now? What's happening? I don't know, man. A mystery.
I
I
know
don't.
where he is.
I. I'm sure you know where he is. Send me the location right now.
I don't know if we can go there, but I know where he is.
Send him a high five and a hug. Maybe a beer if he's drinking beer. I don't know.
I got a
Not
big
real
joint
though.
we could smoke with him. Yeah, dude.
Hey, I actually just quit smoking weed like 6 months ago. But
No
anyway,
shit.
yeah,
Really?
I don't know. Not even I would say life choice, but not even really. I don't know. It just happened. I've smoked
Word.
weed since I was fucking 12. I'm 28. I'm like, I don't even remember it happened that I stopped smoking weed. You know what I mean?
Wow.
But anyway, shout out weed, dude. Weed's fucking awesome. I still 100% represent weed. My whole body is weed, dude.
Yeah.
This is
Shameless bag of
my
weed there.
point. I don't even know. But no, represent. But
Yo, that song you guys did with Teece was fantastic. I thought that was a banger. That should be a song of the year nominee when that rolls around in the next 12 months.
dude, I love that track.
Mhm.
It's great. I love Wombaticus Rex's verse. I want to call him Wombat so bad, but I don't know if that's an applicable pseudonym for him
It
or
is.
moniker. Okay,
Wombat,
cool.
Wombat works.
All right, cool. I didn't know if that would be like a thing he likes or not. But also shout out his whole Vermont hip hop thing. Dude, no one is covering shit like that in the area. It's so fucking sick he does that. I've always looked up to that. I'm like, man, why not do that? Like, people don't do that shit enough, honestly. Uh, the fact he's literally doing journalism for an entire category of things happening in New England that no one else is doing is insane to me. And he's also one of the illest to be on the ballots of any of those categories
Mhm.
for the past 2 decades, probably, right? I would imagine.
When I first met Justin, I'll say I was 17. So yeah, at least 2 decades. Probably a little more than 2 decades. And honestly, it was probably 2.5 because I met him. Yeah, I was 17. I imagine he was doing that a couple years before I met him. So I'd say probably 20, 25 years, somewhere in there. He's
Yeah.
been rhyming. And also, I agree with you. I told him, I was like, I think this might be doper than all the music you've ever made, is that you've brought all these people together and given them a platform to connect with each other. And
Mm,
even though there's like a lot of, I see some whiny shit on there sometimes, like, why ain't my shit getting played enough? But like, also, I do think it's an amazing and he didn't have to do that. It seemed like he just did it um just because. So and I really like that as well,
yeah.
you know.
Well, it's pretty clear he's like doing everything from the heart. Um, one for just like the love of it in general, and two, like because nobody's covering stuff like that in the area. There's not another thing. So like props to him for doing that
I got a
because
thing. We're doing a thing right now.
you do have a thing. It's true. No, you do have a thing, and I props to you for doing this. It's my
Yo,
fucking
and Justin,
thing.
his work has definitely been I like to post my interviews on that page because I know a lot of I've had Mav on the show, I've had Kanga, I've had another oh, there's another guy I'm gonna ask you about that I would like to get on the show, and his name is SK.
SK, dude, that guy, he's a beast, man. He's got a catalog. He's got a sound. He's a unique man in general. Like he's a good dude. You know, like he's got a good thing going for him, and he's very, I feel like, perfectly recluse in what he does. As far as he's got a huge listening base, man, and most people probably don't even know really what his face looks like, and that's fucking beautiful to me because I'm like, you don't need to have a face to make music, dude. You know, You could literally make music if you did not have a face. If you have ears and a fucking mindset to do it. Like that's the thing. And I that dude through masters on I have 3 projects out, 1 Dog Years, an EP, 7 tracks, Arthur Woolly Mop, 15 tracks. It's a mess, but he mastered it and made it sound way better. And now I have Funk 95, which is like my actual fucking album. Self-produced and SK threw a master on that, made it sound much grittier and more raw than it even did to begin with, and that's exactly what I wanted. He's got a great ear for boom bap hip hop, dude. That's my shit. So shout
Mm,
out SK. He's the man.
mm. You also have a great voice too. That shit comes through super dope on your songs, and I love it. You also have these very interesting cadences and different. I love the way that you mince words, man. Like it's not boring. You're always doing something interesting. It's not like, hey, I rhymed one word at the end of every sentence.
Yeah.
It seems like you
Thank you.
maybe, and I assume that's an intentional shit, but you've got these internal rhyme schemes that just like
Yeah.
always keep me engaged in your music.
Uh it's definitely intentional, but also seems crucial to me. Like in my mind, I'm like, if I weren't doing that, like what would I be doing, you know? But that's me, like, and there's so many rappers I like that could just be like pretty simplistic with their rhymes, just like banging fucking hip hop ass beat, dude, and just give me that, give me a good voice, good beat, nice end rhyme, and I'm comfy with that for my attention span. But like, I don't know, something like again, I feel like earlier in the beginning of this thing, I mentioned MF Doom, Aesop Rock. Like, I love the in-depth, way too much type shit. And like sometimes I do too much. And that's where I feel like I figured it out on this record, finally. But yeah, man, there's room for everything here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does seem like that too. And I know I knocked the trap beat shit a while ago, but like, dude, it seems like a lot of people like that. So, yo, if you want to go watch it, like, I can't knock the hustle, man.
Yeah.
Even if I don't love your music, I can still, appreciate your drive and your work ethic, and hey,
No,
get it.
exactly. Yeah.
Like you said, everything changes, man.
You got the right heart, you got the right energy, you're like respective of what the genre is. That's great, man. You know? Do what you do. It's fine.
I want to pull up. Hang on, let me type this up for a second. It's I want to pull up this video you did, and I thought this was maybe a big talking point. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Hang on one second. I'm doing my Joe Rogan. Pulled it up, Jamie.
Yeah. Pull that
My
out, Jamie. One more
Yeah,
time.
pulled it up.
Pull that
Uh,
up.
I don't. There we go. Bang. So I thought this was super dope to see. This is Stovepipe featuring Kool Keith, and I believe this is on the album you were just talking about. And you guys got this dope video here, and I'd love to hear about this because that was sick.
So this video came out of so I had the majority of the album done, right? It's 12 tracks. Again, self-produced. Like I literally look like this is my fucking mic I use, SM58. It's dented as shit for Maiden Voyage years. It looks gross, dude. Actually, in the camera, it looks way grosser than it actually does in real life. But got my little dog ears sticker. It's got a little other Nahte sticker on it. I recorded this whole shit in the corner of my room, right here, the corner you can't see. And made all these beats right here, sitting in the exact spot that I'm sitting in, like, and so this album was like a conceptual thing for me in the sense of I wanted to make my own radio that sounded fucking just crazy boom bap shit. But anyway, so Stovepipe was the last track that I made for this album of the 12 tracks. And I had this verse and I was like, all right, this beat is very simple compared to the other ones, but it's just very hard hitting too. And I was like, I already had Jarv on the shit and Pajama Sam, two of my favorite fucking motherfuckers doing it. I also like get to get to talk to them, you know what I mean? So that's great. But I was like, let me get someone that I feel like I can't talk to on this. So I tried multiple people. I won't name the people I tried, but Kool Keith was probably the fifth dude I tried to get a verse on this shit. Had the beat extended, was emailing people. I emailed Kool Keith based off he posted on his Instagram story, just being like, "Hey, I'm open to doing features." And I was like, "All right, cool. Let's, Dr. Octagon, one of my favorites ever. Literally one of my favorite albums ever. I don't know. I don't have it on vinyl or anything. It's not right there. But like I hit him up, email him, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get his manager or something, and maybe I did, I don't know, but I was like, "Yo, got this track, blah blah blah, blood and soul, sweat, tears," and he hit me back in 20 minutes, man, on a Saturday evening, and he was just like, "Track is dope. You're riding on that track, bro," and was like, "Yeah, I got you by Monday."
So you sent him the track with your verse on it
Yep.
first? Okay. So it wasn't just an instrumental. You put your lyrics down and was like, yo, follow that up with something.
Yeah, I was like, you would jump in like right at this mark, like had the exact timing, whatever, like right after my verse. I was like, you would jump in right after me, no downtime. That's my vision for it. If you're down, that'd be fucking amazing. If not, I understand. Thank you, you legend. And he was just like, all right, you riding that track, bro. And I was just like, he hit me with a price initially. I was able to bring him down to where I basically my thing was like, I have no money into this. I make this in the corner of my bedroom. You can tell it's a bedroom because all you can see in my bedroom is a bed. I live in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, bro. You can't see my computer
It's
screen.
yeah.
This shit is right up against my wall, bro. Like you can't. There's nothing in here but a bed and my studio desk. There's nothing. So, and the dresser in the corner. So I was like, dude, that price is great, and I respect that. I honestly expected more, and if anything, a no. But also business mindset. I was like, what if I
What
can
if
just talk him down to this? So I
yeah.
talked him down a little bit, and I was just like, dude, I easily am gonna pay that price. Let's do it.
Well, if he responded to you in 20 minutes,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe you could get a little deal. And if Keith wants to come on the show, Dr. half shark, alligator, half
hey,
man, you bring it on.
there's a horse in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh shit, there's a horse in the hospital. Nah, for real though. But he was like, "I got you by Monday." That was a Saturday, and he was true to his word. He had his verse in by Monday. I fucking
Oh,
ended up mixing those vocals like within that week, and was just like, "Damn, Kool Keith's actually on my album now. Holy shit, that's insane." Because there was maybe one other person who was on that list who I mentioned earlier too. I'm not gonna say who it was, but if you were listening to this, like maybe just
it was atmosphere.
was one of my favorites and like is still alive. And yeah, heard nothing back on a label I love. Anyway, yeah. So that's how that thing worked out.
And it worked out. Well, can you tell me about the video?
Yeah,
Because
for
looked
sure,
like
for sure.
how'd you guys put that together, man? That was super dope.
It was,
Touch.
it was probably, like, 8 months after that once I kinda was packaging the album in my mind and, like, finally thinking about videos. Uh, Jarv actually scooted me to this guy, goddamn Joshua from, Maine.
Goddamn Joshua.
Goddamn Joshua, yeah. And, he's the man, dude. Basically, we started talking about it. I hit him up. It worked pretty quickly where, like, he was down here within a week or 2. I, like, wrote the little treatment for the video and was just like, "This is what I envision," and he was like, "This is what we can do." I had a venue in mind and on the line scheduled, and then that fell through literally the day he was, like, coming down here, so it was, like, 2 days before the video, so that fell through. He hit me with a million fucking spots, like, video venues, basically, not, like, music venues, but, like, little spots you can jump into. He hit me with, like, 10 to 12 spots, and I was just like, "I like this one, and this one. That meets my marks of my little write-up for the video." And, really, my thing was, like, I want Keith in a throne, and the place I was thinking about, the venue is I believe it's on the border of, like, Ridgewood, Bushwick, Brooklyn Mirage. They have, like, these thrones, and I'd been to a show there before. It was the Souls of Mischief 30-year show,
Oh,
and I was like, "Man,
dope.
they got shit here." So they were down for me to go there until it was last minute, and then they were like, "Here's our price." I didn't know this was still happening, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't know if this is gonna work this weekend." Like with the whole key shit, I was like, "No, my whole fucking shit is falling through." He made it happen so well. He's the man. Shout out Joshua. He still came down and was like, "We're gonna make this happen. I don't care." And yeah, paid him a little grip of money, came down, did his fucking thing, wrote a video with me, and made it happen. Got all the shots. Shit worked out fucking beautifully. That's my
Oh,
guy.
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounded like you also said maybe Jarv did some mixing and mastering for you on some of your stuff.
Um, he didn't. So on my last projects, or on my first project, Dog Years, he basically facilitated that shit for me. He was like, "Yo, that's fucking whack. This is whack." He's like, "Yo, that's not gonna work. That sounds like trash." And I was like, "Thank you," because I don't know what trash is, dude. And I'm like, I don't even know. So he helped me a shit ton with that one. He actually made the majority of shit. What track is it? I believe it's Gas Pump, the first track off my first EP, Dog Years ever. But also, he's on the new album Funk 95, and he did a good solid work of production within that beat. Like I would like to say 50-50, but I don't know if it was 50-50, you know what I mean? So, and that
Yeah.
track is fucking fire, dude. Whenever me and him get together live, we do that and we do the track This Is It. And people love This Is It. And it's a big track on like YouTube streaming. People love that one. So
This is it.
yeah. Pimp it out. This is it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did a good work of production on that one as well, which I didn't shout him out for in the album credits, and I do feel bad about it.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's hard to remember all the people you work with. Here, and hang on, I'm gonna do another shameless slap here because I just fucking Jamied this one as well. Jarv, this is it with Nahte, Renmus.
Yeah.
Oh, you got 250,000 views on that shit. That's hey, there you go, gentlemen. Fuck
Don't
yeah.
he does. Yeah. It's not 'cause
Well,
of me, it's 'cause of him.
well, yo, you're on the song, you know, and
Yeah.
hey, if your homie blows and he wants to, you're living together. Are you guys still doing shows together?
If he does like a local show, he'll always have me jump up with him.
Yeah, but that's still nice. Like, yo, if I had a homie that was super famous in journalism and he like slapped one of my videos up and it got
Yeah.
a fucking 250,000 views, I'd
Yo,
be pretty stoked about that. And also
shout out Jarv 10 feet over that way in the other room.
go grab him.
Go grab him. I have
Grab
to
him.
so bad. I feel like it's. What
Oh,
if I grab him? He says hi, and I pee real quick and come back.
Go ahead. No, that'd be dope.
Is that against the rules?
You got to pee? Go ahead. I'll pack another bowl here and fucking.
Dog, all right, perfect. I'm gonna go grab Jarv. Hold on, 1 second.
Oh boy. I guess we're gonna have Jarv come into the room. Do you have to pee though? If you gotta pee, dude, go take a piss.
You pee, dude. I'll hold it down. All right, we're talking about This Is It right now. All right. What's up, buddy?
Jarv,
my absolute guy.
Dude, long time no see. It's been like freaking 50 years.
I'm actually just gonna pee on his leg next to him. Just out of camera. Yeah.
What a treat, man.
Dude, what's cracking, dog?
Thanks for joining me. Hey, since I got you here for a minute, do you want to tell us a quick story?
Yeah, let's go.
Will you tell us about the time that you went to see R.A. the Rugged Man and he put a sword to your throat while you rapped in his apartment?
Dude, all right. Well, so that shit, well, first, so I did the definition of a rap flow contest, and that was like RA's introduction to me. And we had like a little DM exchange, correlating to that. And then after that, I made my song Escargot, and I sent that to him. This was like 3 months later or something. And I was like, "Hey, I was in your definition of a rap flow contest, and I just made this. I thought, you said the definition thing was good, so maybe you'd like this. I don't even know why I'm sending it to you." But he was like, "Yeah, that's fucking dope," and he like reposted it, and then he messaged me, and he was like, "Hey, you should come to my apartment in Harlem and film like a little YouTube video for my channel." I was like, "Hell yeah, dude." And that was my first time ever going to New York. And yeah, I just went to RA's house. And it's crazy because in the comments, mad people were like, "That's so cool. RA would just let this random guy into his house." Like they thought that I just showed up at his house and just like knocked on the door.
Yeah.
But I'll let you take your seat back.
No, Jarv, will you tell us about the first show? Were you there with Nahte when you guys did this high school dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal, dude. That was like a nightmare. It almost made me just stop. I was like this close to being like, I don't think music is for me. Bro.
Really bad, dude.
Dude, it was like basically traumatizing. Dude, did you tell the whole story?
Yeah.
The circle of death?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. We made matching t-shirts. That was embarrassing.
Oh, I didn't.
You made matching shirts. You didn't tell me that.
We made them. We got white t-shirts and we wrote "fuck Maiden Voyage" on the back. And I guess that was the consensus that night for sure. So I guess it was fitting.
That ended up being a strong slogan that people loved, is that
Yeah.
we rolled by the whole like "fuck Maiden Voyage" thing, and they were like, "Yo."
Yeah. That shit was terrible though, dude. It was a
Yeah.
terrible idea. It was like a dubstep dance party, and like a high school dubstep party. And then they're like, "All right, everybody, stop grinding on girls and trying to get pussy. Everybody make a big circle, and these little guys will come in, and you have to be quiet and listen to them rap."
Watch 4 guys rap that are your age and try to be quiet now.
Yeah, and the mic, they had like 15-foot mic cables, and so the mic cables are like fully taut. They're like in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was terrible.
It's
Yeah, it was a terrible, terrible experience.
Jarv, I got a couple more questions for you, man, but maybe I could ask you one more question. Like, what's it been performing with him and with Teece? Because I've really loved listening to y'all's music, and I still remember, I think maybe we met at that Onion River Campground show, where a shirtless redneck wanted to punch Ethan in the face. But
Classic.
I've always liked watching you guys perform. And I think you've all really carved out your own very distinct styles, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on what it's been like performing with the two of them.
I mean, dude, it was always. I mean, the Maiden Voyage shows were like the most fun ever. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's like fucking wrangling cats, you know. For me, I'm like, especially like if we were doing a show like at the Windsor Station or something, it's like I'm bringing all the freaking gear and got to bring my PA system and shit. These guys are just drunk by the time I'm done setting up everything. I'm like, you fucking idiots, just get here. Get here.
Exaggeration.
No, that is not even
No, I know.
remotely an exaggeration, dude. But
I was
so
17 to what, 22?
well,
we were doing it.
you weren't
Yeah.
that Teece was a liability sometimes, dude. He'd be like, "I'm ready for this set." Ugh. I'm like, dude. But I mean, I love him to death. But it sucks because we can't really do shows these days that much because fucking Teece is a huge pussy and can't leave Windsor. But nothing but respect.
Teece, come on.
Yeah, dude. He's scared.
I'm gonna have Teece on the show for a rebuttal here.
Us one time. He's only visited once since we've lived in New York, over 3 years.
I did touch on the fact that we tried to get Teece down here and we couldn't. And
Yeah.
I didn't call him a huge pussy, but thank you.
Yeah, bro. I
Doing
begged
work.
him. I begged Teece to move with us, but
And
No.
what would you say about Rob, your other roommate, Jarv?
bro, Rob's the fucking man. He's like, I'm like so inspired by his dedication, and he's a fucking young bull, dude. What is Rob, like 24, 25?
24.
Yeah, and he's like younger than us, and he works harder than both me and Ethan combined, probably. And
Yeah.
I see it, and I'm just like, damn, dude. I don't know. It's just he's very dedicated to like all aspects of his life. I don't know. Rob's the man. Very stoic as well, which I respect too. He just kind of very even keel. He's a good boy.
Yeah, he's
Great rapper too. He's awesome.
He's so steady. I admire his
Yeah.
Yeah.
calmness.
At first, I thought you said he's Stove's daddy, and I'm like, who's Stove? What does that mean? He's so steady. Yeah.
To the point in which, though, Nate's always been like on my ass about being like, get this done, get this. You need to work harder. And then the other night, I literally, for the first time ever, I think, towards anyone ever, I heard Jarv himself say to Rob, you need to work less hard.
Well,
Why don't you hang out more?
Yeah, I was like, you just gotta
Why don't you chill a little bit?
Is Rob there right now?
No,
I
he's
know it
actually
works.
not. Otherwise, I would bring him in for sure.
That would have been too much. Yeah, fuck. That would have been
No, it
okay.
would have been sick. No, but
No,
yeah,
that
no,
would've been great.
I just told him, I was like, because he's a young man, I'm like,
Yeah.
live it up while you have a chance, dude.
Right.
Well, it's still socially acceptable. You should while out a little bit, but either way, it's better to be working really hard than to be a complete fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
You can rest later when you're dead.
yeah, exactly,
Yes.
dude. But yeah, no, Rob's the man.
You got any final notes, Jarv? I'd like if I could just wrap it up with your mans here.
Yeah.
But thank you for popping in. Thank you for grabbing him too. Nahte, Renmus. Here's another shameless slap.
When you gotta take a piss,
Yeah.
I've got a man to hop
Cool.
in. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, word up to Pajama Sam as well.
Yes.
Man. Well,
close to me.
let me say one thing, dude. If you're listening to this, check out the Butt House. Did you mention Butt House?
Oh no, I haven't. We just started a podcast called The Butt House, dude.
Yeah, it's terrible. But we did an episode the other night, and it just evolved. Well, we did like 4 episodes in one night, and by the end, all of us were just drunk, and Dan got poppers from down. Wait, is this going to be on like TV or something?
We're live streaming. We're actually live streaming right now. We have one viewer, but
Yes, dude.
yeah. Fucking.
if you need some help, dude, I could give you some pointers on doing a podcast. And I appreciate your time here tonight.
On the download.
Hit us up. Poppers. I mean pointers.
Yeah, no, we were doing the final episode, and we're already like just all more than half in the bag. And Dan comes up we live right above like a corner store, and Dan comes up with fucking poppers. You know poppers, like amyl nitrate or whatever.
Amyl nitrate. Yeah, that was like, yeah.
It's like to loosen your butt or whatever. And
it was more or less. I was down there with him. We were grabbing beers for the next pod. We're like too deep and too deep. Pause. No, and we're like that. He mentioned something, and I was like, "Yo, you ever done poppers?" Because when I was out at the bar with a girl one night, she randomly had us do poppers, and I was like, "That shit is hilarious that mad people do that." And I was like, "I don't do stuff like that really," but we're like joking about the idea if we did that for the so we do a regular podcast and then the Patreon immediately following. So I was like, if we did that for the Patreon, that could be funny.
Do you
But
guys have the Patreon page set up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Butt House.
Butt House.
At
One word.
House podcast on Patreon.
Yeah.
Hold up. I'm gonna do a quick little wait.
Shit.
Is there another Butt House? No, that's you. That's definitely
House
you.
podcast. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Let
like
me-
the Beetlejuice thing.
Let me do
That's
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
cool.
So
That's it.
yeah, man.
Yeah, we just started, so
Everyone hit into that. Subscribe. We won't do poppers on it ever again, and that episode will never come out.
yeah. Well, it might. I mean, I gotta watch it back and see if it was funny because I mean, it ended up with like an argument, but it was like I don't know. It was idiotic, but I think the popper shit might have been funny. I don't know.
Jarv, Jarv, you got any shows coming up you want to slap in here real quick?
I have a tour coming up in March. And actually March 1st, I'm opening for RA at the Rex in Sugar Bush.
March 1st in Sugarbush? Okay. I'm gonna
Yep.
come down for that shit. Okay.
So yeah,
Oh,
March
yeah.
1st, that, and then March 2nd, I'm doing actually those aren't finalized, so I won't even say those. But and then I have a tour March 9th through like the end of March. I guess it starts in like Florida, goes up the East Coast into the Midwest a little bit, but all the dates are on my website, jarvmakesmusic.com. So you can see those there. And yeah, that's it. Caleb, you're the fucking man.
Hey, yeah, thanks for coming in. Well, he had to piss.
Well, he did the piss.
Yeah.
My pleasure, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Fuck yeah. And so I had a couple more that I want. Hey, there he goes. Hey, throw it up.
Thanks, Jarv.
Later, buddy.
Love you, bud. See you in some odd minutes.
There was a couple other guys I wanted to ask about real quick.
Yeah.
One I think did your cover art, John Garot or Garot or something.
John Garut.
Garot, yeah.
So that was a dude. That was the Arthur Woolly Mop project I did. I call it a project. It's 15 songs, so it's technically an album, but that's one of those things. Like as an artist, you know, you put something together, and you're like, I didn't technically do this. You know what I mean? Like as far as like you have an ideal of what you set out to do. It's a great album. There's a lot of great writing on there, a lot of mixed production I did in terms of like I just it was an experimental point for me, really, is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm like, that's why I call it a project. It's not like my album. Like Funk 95 is like a fucking album. Like that shit is mad cohesive in my mind and exactly what I've always wanted to do. Arthur Woolly Mop is really, really sick. People hit me up and be like, "Oh, this song," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I wish I had done this on it." You know what I mean? I don't feel like I'll ever feel that way about Funk 95, but and I actually learned how to like program an album rollout, which I will say Jarv helped me with a lot. He's been through that, but John Garut is a homie I used to skate with. He's, I believe, from Ludlow, Vermont, if not lived in Ludlow, Vermont for a long time. And I used to go up and skate that skate park. He still to this day he's a great snowboarder as well. He's been doing a lot of graphics for a company. I forget which company, to be honest with you. But Yeah, he's been doing like snowboard graphics and shit like that. I hit him up with this idea of what I wanted, and he nailed it.
Mm.
And yeah, John Garut is the fucking man. Shout out John Garut.
And did I ask you about Brother Mike?
Brother Mike. All right. No, you haven't.
That's the
Nobody
last name on my list here.
yeah, nobody else really has ever asked me about Brother Mike. That's actually my brother Mike. He's he's 2 years older than me. Uh just recently had a baby gal. But that was a song that's probably 4 years old. I just found in the vault of things and was like thinking about my family a lot, how I'm so much more separated, moving down to Brooklyn now. And I was like, holy shit, I have a song with my brother. I randomly, so I had made that track and then was like, Mike came in my room. He was like my right hand man as far as he would like even back in my beatbox days before Maiden Voyage and shit, he was always beatboxing for me. And he would rap with me and stuff, but it got to a point where he was like, "You're really good at rapping. I just want to beatbox for you." And I'm like, "All right." And he's great at the drums. He's great at bass, you know. But it got to a point where I he was in the room right beside me. You know what I mean? Much like Jarv is now, but like we're we're actually brothers and grew up together our whole lives. So I would show him new tracks the moment I had recorded them, if not before I recorded them. So brother Mike, my brother, would roll into the room, and this was like a funny night where I was just kind of like, dude, write a verse right now. Do it. Like you have no choice. Like you're gonna be on this song. And he was like, all right. Cause he can rap, he can freestyle, you know what I mean? So I was just like, do this. You have to. You have no choice. And he was like, all right, all right, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it. And
This
I
is
got
this is not an option.
exactly. Yeah. I was brother Mike, are you kidding me? So literally got him to do this verse. And I was like, I fucking love it, dude. And I sat on that for like 3, 4 years, forgot about it, and found it in my shit. And so it was like coming up on his birthday one year. And I was like, he had visited the year before, but I couldn't come visit this year. And I couldn't send him anything. I felt bad. I was like, so I basically was just like finding this fucking brother verse of mine and being like, damn, I'm gonna polish that up, make him sound badass on it. And he did sound badass on it, but I was like, it was fun EQing my own brother's shit to sound like, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
sometimes I EQ my own stuff and I'm like, I don't know how I feel like I sound, but I started doing it and I was like, he sounds sick. I was like, I wish I had been doing this to him for like 10 years. You know what I mean? I'm like, I wish I made him do this all the time because he sounds sick. And so, yeah, that was just like a thing. I was like, for his birthday, I'm gonna post a song with me online. Yeah. So that was that. That's Brother Mike. Vigilante, it's called.
There's a few people I hope are listening to that comment about EQing your shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's important.
Okay, so I'm getting to the end of the shit here. Let me do another shameless slap. This is the album covers. Nahte, Renmus.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me tonight, man.
course,
This has been a fascinating conversation. I didn't know that was your actual brother, so that was dope. I do want to ask you because you said you're making a lot of your own beats, and I used to make beats for a long time. What are you using to make beats with? You got a little MIDI keyboard? You got some? What?
No, I got let's see if the chords reach so I can show this off a little bit more. Oh, they don't want to reach. I'll show it upside down.
Machine?
I got the Machine Studio. This is the upside down version of it. I got
Yeah.
the Machine Studio. Literally just a USB turntable, and a gang of records, which I buy from the dollar bin. Scarlet interface, like all relatively cheap stuff. Um, and yeah, I've been rocking like that for like 8 years ish.
And it sounds good.
Thank you. And literally, this past album is the best I've sounded, and eventually I'm gonna clean up my style, but I love the idea of like a dirty, grungy, like garage band sound. Not garage band like the program, but like Nirvana was a garage band.
Well, I've
Grunge.
noticed that from listening to the way that I don't know what the fuck you're doing to get it to sound like that, but you can hear it's got that kind of like raw edge to it, a little grunginess.
Yeah,
I like that. It sounds gnarly, man, and I like that sound you got going.
yeah. No, I appreciate that people appreciate it. I
Mm.
appreciate that appreciate people. That's what I was about to say. That's not it. Yeah, man. Handheld mic in the corner of your room, some relatively cheap equipment uh from working a fucking day job.
Well, hey, dude, I've seen people with a fucking $75,000 worth of gear in their studio that don't know the first fucking thing about making beats, and it doesn't sound good.
That's
And
the
it's really more about not the equipment you have or that you can afford, like what you're doing, maximizing the equipment. Because that's how I learned how to make beats. I had a $200 MIDI keyboard.
yeah.
I bought a little pair of monitors for like $600. That was like really all I had. And it was okay. And I did pretty good. And I met that other kid, and he was just down there with all these fancy keyboards
Yeah.
and really nice monitors, and just had no idea what he was doing with any of it. And that's the difference. I think you can do great stuff with pretty simple gear, man. I'm
Right.
doing it right now with this fucking mixer I got over here.
Hey, literally whatever works, man. Like that's the thing. You don't have to be fucking Jay-Z in a studio. Like everyone wants to hear an album of Jay-Z where he's just recording in his room. But until you're Jay-Z, people think they don't want to hear that. But really, that's the most relatable sound you're ever going to get. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to do all my albums in the sense that I did this one, where it's just like handheld mic in the corner of my room. Uh, I would like to eventually find a little cleaner sound, but that's what made sense to me at the time. It's where I was. It was quite literally from the heart and soul, and I'm like, if when you're feeling like you have that position, do that. 100%.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm in my second. We have a little spare bedroom here that's barely tall enough to walk in,
Yeah.
and we've been using it for storage. And it looks nice right now, but if I turn the camera around, it's just full of shit. And I'm kind of just backed into a corner. I'm doing the best I can with what I have, and it's going all right. And I'm not gonna let those types of limitations like slow me down. And I kind of, dude, if you got to record an album in your fucking bedroom with a smashed up 58, and it sounds good, man. I've heard other people that have done worse with more.
Yeah.
And so that was impressive to me.
Appreciate that, man.
Mm.
And again, like I own a condenser mic. I do. I don't know. I felt that way at the time. I was like, these are the things I like hearing. There's multiple influences. It's like one Jarv influenced me that way because he had done a project with someone we named earlier, great producer in Vermont. They don't have this thing out yet, but it's a thing in the ethers. I need to have him resend me that, honestly, because it's been like 2 years probably since I heard that. But banging project sounds fucking awesome. It's literally SP404 and a handheld mic and sounds amazing, man. Like that's my type of hip hop is like garage band shit. And again, not the software. And then like Edon, I'm sure Edon probably doesn't always use a fucking handheld mic every time he records, but that's yeah. There's a certain sound that comes from that realism of like the mix of stage performance to I don't even know, like a totally false prediction of what someone is or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's like Rick Ross isn't gonna sound cool with a fucking SM58 on the beats he plays on, but you throw him a fucking hard ass boom bap beat, Rick Ross might sound fucking sick on an SM58. You know what I mean? He should put out a whole project like that. He might come back, dude. It's not all about getting skinny in pairs, dude. Pairs aren't gonna bring you back, dude. Sounding sick is gonna bring you back. So anyway,
Rick, if you're listening,
yeah.
you know, please hit me up. We'll get you on the show. We'll get you a smashed up 58, dude. We'll see what's up.
Let's be real, Rick.
This is big. I want to ask you just for a couple few notes at the end there. I'm out of shit here, and I want to thank you. I'm going to bring myself back up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. This has been fascinating. I hope you're doing well. I want to clear out some time here at the end. If you have anything we missed, any shameless plugs or shout outs, now is the time. It's Nahte, Renmus joining me. Please check out. I've splashed up his links here throughout the interview. Please check those out. But yep, last words here for you, dude. Thanks again for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Caleb. Man, this is fun. Look, I mean, my most important thing in my fucking mind right now is the fact that I just dropped Funk 95. It's one of my favorite albums. I know everyone could probably say this. One of my favorite albums I have ever heard. And it's easily the best I've ever made. I've got tapes. The tapes are sick, made by Ben Buck from Austin, Texas. Cool slime green. Jarv did all the hand styles for the album. As you can see the track list, you can see it better on the vinyl, which I have. I got CDs, you know what I'm saying? A little CD, fucking blah blah blah. Vinyl. The vinyl looks sick. Look. Bang. Bang. I know, reflection's a crazy thing. It's like dark green, and then if you hold it up in a certain light, it's very translucent, but it's hard to tell from there. Kool Keith actually signed this one. Hard to see.
Oh. That's a nice little I assume you're gonna keep that one, maybe.
Oh, I'm definitely keeping that one. And actually, during the video shoot, it was funny because I had to ask him to sign me one. I was giving him and Mark Live, his cousin, and also rapper. They're both like tight with Ice-T and shit. I don't know. That's just like a random stupid thing. But well, it's not stupid. Ice-T's not stupid. But they're literally holding like I gave them both a tape and a fucking vinyl, and they were like, "Yo, will you sign this?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like Kool Keith is asking me to sign my album that I'm giving him, and I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?" I was like, "Thank God I brought a third one so that you." I was like, "Sign mine. What are you talking about, dude?" So anyway, yeah.
I'll sign yours if you sign mine.
Dude, exactly.
That seems like a straight deal there. That's awesome.
Not a straight deal.
That seems like like
it's very much the opposite of straight deal, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Acceptable
offer. There's oh shit, there's a horse in the hospital. Anyway, man.
Bringing that back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any shows?
That's my thing. Bring it up.
Do you have any shows coming up?
I actually don't right now. I just did a show opening up for Gorilla Nems. Bing bong. Fuck your life. That's that dude. And Mac Lethal, who I used to listen to all the time. Both enigmatic characters. But and that was hosted by Mr. Burns. I fucking love Mr. Burns.
Word up to Burns, yeah.
Shout out everyone mentioned in this whole thing. I love you all. And yeah. Hopefully some more Brooklyn shows soon. I'm trying to like stick around in Brooklyn. I don't have a car, so it's like as a solo man, it's difficult for me to travel out unless someone's being like, "Yo, I'm gonna buy your plane ticket." So yeah, man, and I'm fully open to that too. You want to buy my plane ticket out, do a show, I'll do that shit. 107,000 fucking %. I will do that. So yeah,
You heard it here. Buy the man a plane ticket.
yeah, buy me a plane ticket. I'm out.
I want to try. I want to try something. Do you have any final notes here? I'm going to sign it off here in a second, unless you got anything else. And I thank you one more time, man. This has been a pleasure, and I hope we can follow up, down the road and see how you guys are doing, man.
Yeah, man. 100%. No other plugs. Yeah.
Word up. So my old voiceover guy from my last podcast, he sent me this little fucking voice message where he did my tagline at the end.
Okay.
Let's turn the mic up real loud and see if we can pick this up here. This is from my man Tommy Durfee. Tommy, I love you, buddy. Let's see.
The devil's in the details, and the details are in the fine print.
Could you hear that?
The devil's in the details, and the details are in the fine print, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Fine
Tommy,
print.
Tommy, I love you.
Echo.
Nahte, thank you for joining me. And I'm signing it off. Peace.